Good afternoon, Whisperers, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. I am your host, Sonya LaRae, lifestyle relationship counselor, educator, fashion psychologist, and motivational speaker. Oh my goodness, Whisperers, it is so good to be in our safe place and to be having this discussion with each other today. Wow, I am so happy to be here. I can't begin to tell you guys, like, this week has been totally bananas for us. And today has already been off and running. I can't even begin to tell you, that when I get to come in here, I really get to kind of kick back, relax, and enjoy myself with you all. And to bring forth such dynamic discussions as like what we're having today is so fabulous. You know, I'm always excited to have you all here. I'm excited to have you to be a part of our conversation. And listen, we have in our Zoom room today, and hello, ladies. I didn't get to speak with you beforehand, but we'll be together afterward, and we'll also be together today on our live at 3 p.m. on Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. If you are going to be tuning in even on the radio with us, please make sure you come over to our home station at www.blogtalkradio.com slash Whispers in a Bottle at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the cocktail mocktail over there. Now, listen, we don't do it over here on YouTube because we don't, drink on television and we don't promote it over here like that. But if you want to be a part of it, you make sure that you join our VIP listing, which is our newsletter, so you can get the featured cocktail mocktail of the episode. Plus, we have fabulous tips that we give in there. And also, you get a bonus article in each and every one of our newsletters. So you want to be a part of it. Make sure that you click that live in the live description box, that you are following us and that you're notified every time that we go live. And listen, we want you to subscribe to the channel. We want you to, pin mark it and share it, because that is what we're all about, pouring value into each other. And so, you know what? The ladies of the Golden Aged Book Club, they're a group of mature ladies out of Denver, Colorado. Woo! I can't wait to talk to them later, but they look fabulous. I wish you all could see them. They look so good. So listen, are you really ready for this discussion we're about to get into? And don't forget, you can leave your comments, your questions in the chat box, because your girl loves to monitor a great chat box. And this particular discussion today on teammates is the question, came via a letter from one of you whisperers. So it's going to be good. So we're going to get into the letter immediately. And look, I got tons of notes for you guys too. So listen, the letter starts off like this. It says, "Hello, Sonya and Whisperers. I have been married for 5 years, and unfortunately, I don't feel my husband and I are teammates. Dun, dun, dun. Sonya, I don't care if it's something simple or large. We have to have a 4-hour debate or a whole dissertation. It's almost like we're at the Supreme Court for everything that we're doing. Just recently, we were speaking of having a baby, and literally, we couldn't come to terms on some of the simplest and tiniest things. Sonya, how do we start playing on the same team? Please help us." Oh my goodness. Wow. That letter was chock full. It's so many different elements in it. And Whispers, we are going to break this down. I mean, seriously. Oh my goodness. You know, I think we may need like just a moment to really kind of hear and what that was, what she had stated, and let it resonate with us for a second. Because I mean, she stated a lot of little things, But the biggest thing that she stated and the word that she used was teammates. And I love to start our discussions off with clear meaning. So we're going to get the understanding of the word teammate. And the word teammate means a fellow member, a person who serves on the same team and works together with a winning goal in mind. So that's what a teammate is. I'm going to say it again. A teammate is a fellow member, a person who serves on the same team and works together with a goal, a winning goal in mind. So when we have a teammate, we have a goal in mind. Whew. Listen, Whisperers, unfortunately, I wish I could say this is like the first time of me hearing this particular concern, this particular dialogue, and this particular situation. I think any of us that have been married or are married or anything, there's times that we all feel like, wait a minute, my teammate is not really connecting with me and is not on the same playing field. But when it comes to be such a situation that every moment and every play just turns out a penalty, then we need to have a talk. Then we need to plug into each other. See, Whisperers, many times I help clients to understand that our mates and partners are more than our husbands or our wives. They are our teammates because we really depend on them to have our back, be there when we need someone else to score, which means like making life decisions or picking up that area that we fall short in, or to have our back in a way that when the chips are down, they are able to step in because, wait a minute, we may have stumbled and they've caught us and they ran that ball in for the touchdown. That's what we look at our mates for. That's how we feel about our mates. And the ladies in the chat box said that, that's such a great analogy because we are teammates and that you do really need someone to fall back on and to carry that ball for you. But what happens when that ball always seems to fall just short of making the goal line? Well, we're going to get into that too, ladies. I'm going to keep that question. We're going to put a pin in that question because it's going to come a little bit later in the discussion because we want to set this up that we are really taking point by point and not just kind of bouncing around. Because, see, when we have a discussion like this, it's really a key element of us focusing our attention correctly that we're able to really kind of bring forth a round circle to connect those dots. See, your husband or your wife is your partner, your teammate, someone you believe will always be what is best for you, even when it's not best for them. Because a lot of times when I say that, people are like, well, isn't that contradictory? No. Because, see, when we're teammates, we do want to make sure that our partner and our teammate is shining. So you think about all the guys on the field with Tom Brady, right? They all are dynamic players. They're making beautiful moves. But it always shines on Tom because of how he is able to connect with those guys. And his defense players are right there to protect him just so he can shine brilliantly and connect that ball with that player down the field. So it's the same thing that our mates are doing for us. And sometimes we're Tom Brady, and sometimes they are Tom Brady. So they can shine and be the element and that element of attention that needs to be there. So it's the same difference. So it's not that it's a one-sided kind of table or slanted scale. So I don't want you to misconstrue that. I wanted to make sure that I really clarified that point for you all. Because that's something that I noticed that a lot of times people may get askew a little bit. And many happily married couples often report that teamwork is a critical ingredient to a happy marriage and a more fulfilling marriage. So many of you all, because I know the ladies in here, they bake, but many of you all bake. So this is an ingredient, right? So if you think about a cake, if you don't put eggs in your cake or you forget to put the liquid in your cake, it doesn't turn out right because you skipped the step or a key ingredient that makes that cake delicious. So it's the same with our marriages, that we can't circumvent or sidestep those elements that keep us growing and blossoming and nurturing those key elements and those ingredients. You see? I told you, I'm always going to keep everything kind of moving in the same direction, that I connect those dots for you all. See, the main point is that you all are partners that are on the same side, and it shouldn't be that you cannot find the other side of the table. So when we're on the same side, we're not opposing teammates. We don't have opposing objectives. We're not running down the field with no aim and no mission whatsoever. We're actually having a real game plan that we put into place. And many of you may feel that you're faced with mates that don't want to work on the game plan. And if that's the case, then you need to have the hard discussion. Like the you I always think about it like, you have a team that's out there and they're messing up, and they go into the locker room, and that coach probably had the conversation of a lifetime with those players, right? And all of a sudden they come back out, and I mean, they are playing like lightning had just struck them. It's the same thing that we have to be willing to do with our mates. Sometimes we have to sit down and have that call, and we have to make that hard discussion. But also remember that when we have those discussions with our teammate, we want to have a discussion that is open, not closed, not accusatory, but to have a dialogue that keeps it open and flowing. Because, see, for a good team to run, it has to have good communication. And good communication leads into a dynamic connection. You know what? One night, I co-mod a show on Clubhouse, and we were speaking about the 3 C's in a relationship, and it was called the sexy C's, and it was communication, which causes connection, which falls into commitment, and those are the sexy C's. And see, when we have a teammate, we connect all those C's in the right place to keep ourselves moving. And so that's the elements that have to be put into place. And to have the networking correctly so we can gel as teammates. And as teammates, for us to gel, we have to spend quality time together. Because, see, you can't become a good teammate with someone when you don't know them. And when they don't know you, and they don't know what really is your true love language or the style of what you need to be fulfilled for your love tank. So a lot of factors come into it. And these are unfortunate signs, like when I see certain things like this, or an unwillingness to really have that discussion, sit down. These are the red flags that really say that maybe your teammate is not willing to really be that teammate that you need, and that they need to show up and show out at game day. And when we say game day, that's your life, that's your relationship. And they have to be willing to do it. See, guys, I want us to take a few of these steps that I'm going to give, and I really want to go deep into the steps. So, this is when I tell you all to like pause this, pin mark it so you can grab your notebooks. Or if you don't have your notebooks already, just pause it and come back and let's take some notes because I'm really going to pour into you and give you some of your key game plan and your positionings that you need to have an excellent game plan with your teammate. So make sure that pin mark it here if you need to and come back and listen to it. Or, share it with someone who really needs to hear this that may be struggling with this. Because maybe this isn't something that you and your mate struggle with, but maybe you have someone who's really close to you that needs to hear this discussion, that needs these key points to help this game plan to be built and to be brought full circle for them. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get my notes here and you're going to see me looking at them because I want to really cover it. So the first part of the game plan is this. No one should ever hear anything bad about your spouse from you. And I mean no one. So your first key and the first game point, the game plan and all that you're going to have is this. No one should hear anything bad about your mate from you. It's one thing to joke with your friends and tell them about how your spouse does the dishes too slow, or maybe they have a strange way of taking out the garbage or whatever. Those are like cute little funny stories, right? But it's a different thing when you demean your spouse or their character by discussing details of issues in your relationships, such as maybe your money situation, how he may or she may mishandle money, or how he or she may discipline the children or carry on in a certain way or whatever it is. Whispers, I'm gonna tell you a true story what really took place. One time, myself and my husband, we went out with a couple that were friends of ours, and literally during the dinner we was having a great time, everybody's laughing and joking and everything, but the conversation took like a strange turn. And it was weird because um it was like a strange dynamic. Like the husband was being kind of callous and speaking kind of ill of his wife, and, even some of her flaws and all. And it made us all kind of feel like uncomfortable when it happened. And we thought like, okay, well, it just, this one time, like he said this, and we all kind of like, ah, ha, ha, kind of chucked it up real, like laugh real, like weird, kind of like make it like, okay. But then it kept going, and it was every so often an occasion of a dig. And it was like, do you love this person? Is this like a brink of a divorce? Like, what is happening here? And I know that it made all of us feel awkward because we would never think that they were like this. Well, he was like this, that every time that he had the opportunity, he was literally saying something kind of like crass or negative about his wife. And it made us uncomfortable. So it's the same difference. If you're speaking or you're sharing things about your mate in a negative connotation or tone, imagine what that does and how that erodes the team spirit. So it's the same difference. It made me think of even like with regards to teams. We have our team here in Philadelphia, which is a basketball team, and there's like a little dissension there because they have one player who has decided that I don't want to play for you people, and but it's kind of put a negative spin on it, and it's kind of disrupted the team atmosphere. And so, in turn, it's the undermining of that loyalty and that connection. And so, it's the same as what happens when you do that with your mate. You start to erode and pull apart that connection. So, that's the first thing. That's your first element in your playbook. The other one is this: over communicate. You heard me. Over communicate. You cannot read each other's minds. Now, I tell you guys this all the time. You don't own a crystal ball. You can't read nobody's mind, and stop trying to, because you will fail miserably each and every time. Never assume the other person knows what you meant, because that's how misunderstandings constantly happen. You know, remember I told you all we don't hold a crystal ball, and if you aren't willing to communicate effectively, notice that word, effectively, we cannot expect our mates to understand, know, or realize our needs. Because, see, people don't know what you need if you don't tell them. And if you're not honest in the manner in which you're telling them, that you're kind of holding some things back. They think they're doing certain things, but they're really not, because you're not communicating in that effective way, and vice versa. Because they could be holding back, thinking like, "Oh, I don't want to upset or start an argument." But then you guys are walking on eggshells past each other and not really connecting and communicating with each other openly, that you can say that you know each other and you know each other's needs. So, how does it become that you all are a team? It can't be, because teammates have to be effective communicators. They have to be kind of like that eye contact to know that when you're looking down the field, even though I'm looking at you, I'm really going to go to you because I know that you're really ready for me. And it's the same thing. And it's the same quality and mindset that has to be there. You see, give each other the benefit of a doubt when miscommunications happen. Because sometimes that's just it. It's a miscommunication. You could think about sometimes with things that happen, and all of a sudden you think somebody meant this, and lo and behold, they meant that. And then you like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought this was this." Prime example, I've had many a times that things happen in my own life, and people that I was connected to and I felt that were very connected to me, that they would understand something as I was communicating with them. And then lo and behold, find out that they did not understand, nor did they even remotely take the feeling of what I was saying into consideration whatsoever. But because I thought they knew me so well, that when I said or was saying such things, that they would understand, and that was not the case. And so ended up that everything just kind of went awry. And a lot of times for women, now ladies, really listen to this. You know, ladies, this is a difficult thing for many of you all to do, is to really give the benefit of a doubt when there is a miscommunication. Um, you rather telepathically tell their mates what to do, and you seethe underneath. But see, that doesn't allow that level of communication. And so you got to be mindful of that. And fellas, you have to be mindful of not shutting down when you really need to be speaking openly to your partner. So, no one should be sharing or hearing anything negative about their mate to someone else outside of you all. And you need to overly communicate two key elements in your playbook. Your third one is this: try new things together. Even if one is a foodie and the other one isn't, maybe you're a little squeamish or picky or whatever, try something new. You may surprise yourself, even with your mate. Maybe you wear a certain perfume all the time, but all of a sudden you just change it up on the person because it's something new and exciting for them. Or it could be that maybe your style has been the same, and lo and behold, you just change it up and it's just something beautiful, and they're just taken aback by it. Like, wow, I love this. You ever see like a woman who has always wore like maybe like a pale color or sheer color, and lo and behold, they walk in and they got a bold red lip, and their mate is like, wow. It's the same thing. So we have to be willing to try new things. We have to be willing to be open to the possibilities. We have to be open to the pure enjoyment of doing something so out of our comfort zone. Remember, there's discomfort in comfort. There's comfort in discomfort. Remember our discussion? If you don't remember it, go back and listen to it. Because sometimes we have to get comfortable when we're not comfortable, because it brings forth a beautiful change. And it's a great element that brings into our life. I mean, who doesn't love a little spontaneity? I mean, a mate that can be spontaneous, do something different, zhuzh it up or whatever. It could even be that you have a mate that, she's kind of like a tomboy, but lo and behold, she comes in and she's got the cute negligee on, and she's got her hair all tousled and everything. But it's a change and it's different. And it's the same thing. Or maybe you are like the He-Man, and lo and behold, you get all dressed up and everything, and you take her for a night out on the town, or you have somebody cater dinner for you at home for her. But it's just different. Or you put the kids to bed that she can have the night off and just enjoy a glass of wine and read a good book, or whatever the case is. But just do something different. you know, try something new, because you just might be surprised what you get. And the ladies over here, I saw the comments. I'm seeing them. They're flashing by me, but I scrolled back down because the one was really good. And it said that when you try something new, it actually may even surprise yourself that how much you enjoyed it. She said, I remember the first time that I said I would try sushi with my husband. He was, first of all, floored. And then I really enjoyed it. I had been so close minded about it for over 2 years. But see, she tried something new and she enjoyed it and she loved it. So that's the same thing. So your game point and your game plan has three key plans in it, three plays in it now. You're not speaking harshly against your mate to anyone, saying negativity or disparaging comments about them to anyone else. You're over communicating with them, but you're communicating effectively with them, and you're being open to the possibilities of what it is and not always jumping to conclusions. And then on top of it, you're trying something new. If I was baking something or making something, I feel like right now I got a good recipe going on and my dish is turning out pretty dynamic. But if this is my teammate, trust me, I'm about to go either make a field goal, I'm about to go make a touchdown, I'm about to make the winning goal or something with this game plan. So you got three key elements that we put into play already. So let's go to our fourth element. Let's go in there. Let's come on. I'm excited, man. This is like good conversation. Like, this is whispers. This is how we need to talk. You know what? You guys need to keep having these conversations offline. It's so important for you all to keep talking and bringing in these type of discussions into your relationships. So our fourth element is this: be each other's champion. Oh my goodness. Celebrate wins, encourage each other, bring home a cake after a promotion, or bring home a cake because guess what? Your wife been home all day with those kids, working hard, doing everything, cooked dinner for you, made sure everything was just so, and even may have even had the opportunity to brush her hair and zhuzh herself aid to champion for each other. Do not be afraid to celebrate each other, be it ever so small, be it ever so large. Be willing to celebrate each other. Because when we start being each other's cheerleaders and high fiving each other down the hallway, you're going to see the dynamics of the team and what it brings forth and what it builds. It's going to be something that you are not going to want to vacate. You're never going to throw a game ever again. You're never going to misstep in any way whatsoever. So these are like your building blocks. Then on top of it, now we're going to go over here to the next one, and it is this: we are going to be grateful for each other's contributions. We are grateful for each other's contributions, whether it be money, time, chores, childcare, washing your car, vacuuming your car, running to the store, whatever your mate contributes, appreciate it. Like today, my husband vacuumed the house today, and I loved it and I appreciated it because, see, he didn't have to do it. He didn't even have to do it at all. But he did, and he took the initiative to do it. And so that made me feel good. And I was thankful for it. And so when they do those acts of kindness and that they are, contributing and doing things, be it from helping with the kids. My husband is my daughter's learning coach, and it's not easy by far because, we got a little rascal. She is. She's awesome, but she's a little rascal. But he's her learning coach, and he's invested in it, and he does a good job with it. And I appreciate that because it allows me to be able to do what I do. It allows my clients to be able to tap into me and to have the resources of their therapists to come in and do this. It allows you all to come in as my whisperers and sit down, and we get to have this talk because he is engaged with our child and doing the things like that. So it's those appreciative moments, or those moments that we need, and each other, we, meaning our team, need to appreciate what the other person is bringing to the table and what they're contributing to. And sometimes it's not that you have to say thank you, but it's the appreciation in your acts that speak even louder than what you could say. So be grateful for each other's contribution, because a person does not have to do what they do, but they do it because they love you. And sometimes when we have other issues that we're looking at, we may miss or skip the contribution that they're doing and think that they're not being teammates, but they're really investing quality time. So that's your fifth element in your playbook. So I'm going to give you number 6. You have to trust and respect each other. See, if I don't trust and respect you, I can't be a teammate with you. Because, see, I have to trust and respect my teammate is going to make a good decision for my team, meaning me, as well as for himself or for herself. But if I don't have that there, how do I even remotely fall back or even gather that up in me? If you do not respect your spouse in front of other people, and if you don't respect your spouse behind closed doors or in front of your children, what do you really have? What exactly are you really building? And what do you think that you will bring to the table when time to have a good play, a game play, put into action? Because I don't trust you. So, how in the world can I possibly make a great play for this goal? You can't. See, when we lack respect for our mates, we teach others how to treat them or how not to treat them. And we even teach ourselves how not to treat them when we don't have respect. And then vice versa. See, somebody can't have respect for you if you have no respect for them. It's an earned quality. So you have major plays that we just put into your playbook. See, whisperers, marriages are, or any long-term relationship is not all about love and romance. It's about working at it day in and day out. And yes, it does require investment. And I always tell you all that when you really make a key investment, it has value and it has an exchange value. So when we're doing this and we're building our team and we're investing in our team, it has such a dynamic value that it's going to even produce a better quality, a better play, a better connection. So it's so many things that go into this teammate. And it goes into a deeper level where she said, we can't agree on the tiniest of things. But is she open to the communication? Is she open to the respect? Are there key elements and work that needs to be done and brought back into, alignment again? Because we have to look at ourselves, like they say, when you point your finger, you got three of them pointing right back at you. So sometimes that's the case. They're pointing at us. And we have to be willing to make those changes that are needed so we can be effective teammates. Every team has to learn how to work with each other. And so they can become like a winning team. Because you see, the Patriots, they were a winning team. Because see, they learned how to work with each other. And many teams needed to have the same viewpoint, the same tenacity to really build a team and the quality of it. Our mates are the same, and we have to be willing to put that work and that quality in with them. Because when we do that, it produces beautiful things. Whisperers, I have to tell you, I love discussions like these. I love when we can come together and we can really dig in deep on a topic, because sometimes we have to. Sometimes a conversation cannot just stay on the surface. It has to burrow down deep so we can get the points and the elements that we need. And this is what this is. Because if you want longevity in your marriage, you have to be willing to dig deep and plant those roots down deep. And I give you analogies all the time about trees. I give you analogies about the redwood trees, the willow trees, of how their root systems are and how deep they are and how they run is why those trees are so strong and why they can stand in that way. But when we're talking about teammates, what makes that team have longevity and stand strong is the quality that they invest to really brand that team and to unite them in a solid effort. And that's what we have to be willing to do with our mates. We have to be willing to do the work necessary to have a fulfilling, successful relationship and to truly be teammates. Teammates is the question. Teammates are the solution. Teammates are the success. It's just that cut and dry. You know, whisperers, I have to tell you, you see, this is such a dynamic topic. And if you struggle with this, I would love to connect with you and to be able to work with you and to really help you to structure out a great game plan. Because relationships are truly worth investing into. And especially if you have a mate that is really invested in you and wants to love you, wants to support you, wants to celebrate you, it would behoove you to invest into it and become that quality teammate. So, guys, I love that we get to come in here and talk with each other. But you know what? I like to connect with you guys outside of here as well. So listen, I'm on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at instagram.com/whispers in a bottle _podcast. Once again, that's instagram.com whispers in a bottle _podcast. We have our Facebook group, and if you make sure that you notice that it's Whisper in a Bottle, and that's facebook.com/whisper in a bottle. We're also on Twitter, but you have to watch the spelling on Twitter because we're capital WHISPERS, capital BOTTLE. If you don't put it in that way, you won't find us. And listen, you think that I'm pouring in some great stuff here on YouTube for you and on Blog Talk Radio? Well, listen, you need to come over and join me on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is this fabulous app, and it just is audio. It's all audio. And it's dynamic how we're connecting and pouring value into each other, dynamic conversations, great place to network, build your brand, your business, everything. And literally, I have my own club over there. It's called the Round Table of Intention. It's every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come over to Clubhouse and join the conversation. Because guess what? You can raise your hand. There's a little button. You raise your hand, and I can pull you up on the stage, and we can talk like this to each other, and you can pour into the conversation. And it's so much fun. And I would love to connect with you all. And it's always great for us to be in here, to always be able to be in our safe zone, to talk with each other, and to just value each other. I mean, because that's what it is about, valuing each other. Listen, don't forget to come back next week because I got another dynamic discussion that we are going to have. Oh, and it's on this: overcoming a poverty mindset. You are not going to want to miss that discussion because mindset is powerful. And I teach you guys that all the time. But overcoming a poverty mindset, this is going to be a dynamic conversation. So, listen, guys, you are listening to Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. I am your host, Sonya LaRae, lifestyle relationship counselor, educator, fashion psychologist, and motivational speaker. I am honored to always be in here and to bring such a dynamic discussion to you all. I want you to please be safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, and please make sure you're tapping into your neighbors and even your elderly relatives, because you know what? They need someone to be caring about them as well. So, you know what, guys? Until we meet again, make sure you join our fabulous newsletter. Come join me on social media. Let's get social together. It'll be a lot of fun. So, listen, have a great time. Have a great weekend. And listen, if you're going to be around at 3 o'clock, come over to my home station on Blog Talk Radio at www.blogtalkradio.com/whispers in a bottle. Join the conversation and have a mocktail cocktail with me. We're going to have a good time. All right, guys, take care. Be safe.